2021.
Cool boy.
Hella team humble and honored. This is actually a blessing from us to you. It's a pleasure to be at your service.
Walitaka mziki tumewapa vitu tamu.
Hey guys, this is Ngala from the African Reviewer. Today we're going to be talking about James Bond's No Time to Die, the final movie by Daniel Craig. Man, it's been a long time coming since we last saw the previous James Bond movie. So I was actually really excited to watch this one, James Bond is one of my favorite movie series that I enjoy to watch. So I was actually really excited to watch this new movie by Daniel Craig, considering that it's going to be his last movie. I've enjoyed seeing Daniel Craig as a really awesome actor in the James Bond series, especially his first movie, Casino Royale. I really enjoyed Casino Royale. It's one of my best Bond movies. So I was really looking forward to No Time to Die. No Time to Die is your typical James Bond movie. We've got the action scenes, we've got the cinematography, we've got great choreography, the gunfights are really awesome. So it's got everything, every element with the gadgets, the cars, So the change of scenes from country to country. So it's a really great James Bond movie. But unfortunately, it was quite underwhelming for me, plot-wise. I really expected this to be a very interesting, unique final chapter for Daniel Craig. I really expected this to be something that goes out with a bang so that we can be able to remember, wow, this was a really great Daniel Craig series for James Bond. But unfortunately for me, I was quite heavily disappointed. Everything else was great apart from the plot line. It felt like the storyline was all over the place. The most important thing about a James Bond movie is the villain. We have to know that the antagonist will match up the energy as much as the protagonist, We always know that James Bond movie is a high-stakes movie. Everything is on the line. There's a sense of fear, a sense of danger, a sense of things might go wrong. But in this case, I think the writers and the directors are just concerned in giving a goodbye for Daniel Craig as James Bond. There was nothing new, interesting. It's usually the same old thing. We have a villain with an organization. The villain, Safin, played by Rami Malek, who's a really great actor we've come to appreciate, was really, really underdeveloped. Safin was supposed to be a villain that would at least bring James Bond to his knees. But in this situation, it just seemed like as if there was more than one story within the movie. Of course, in the first beginning of the scene, we get to see a young Madeleine Swan with her mother, living with her mother. And then we get to see Safin coming for revenge, saying that Madeleine Swan's father killed his family. So he kills Madeleine Swan's mother and tries to kill Madeleine Swan, who manages to get away and shoot Safin. Thinking that Safin is dead, she drags Safin onto the ice, but later Safin wakes up and chases Madeleine Swan all the way to the ice, where she falls into the ice lake, and we see that Safin gets to spare her life. So that was quite interesting in that scene. Another interesting part is whereby we get to see a time jump of Madeleine Swan and James Bond having a holiday. James Bond goes to see the grave of his ex-lover, and then there's an explosion, and we get to see that it's Spectra that is after him. Then the villain says that Madeleine Swan is a daughter of Spectra. And then later on, Madeleine Swan with James Bond in the car, when they're trying to escape the villains, she gets a call from Blofeld, who tells her that he appreciates her for doing a good job as a daughter of Spectra. So all these sequences do not make sense really for James Bond to abandon her at the train station and tell her that he's not going to see him again because he feels that he's been betrayed. that scene didn't really make sense at all, because why doesn't James Bond investigate? This is the love of your life. Why would you just believe that she was out to betray you after all this time? So I didn't like the writing on that part. It didn't make sense for me. So they split up. James Bond is on his own. You get to see James Bond's old best friend, Felix, who comes asking him for help, because the scientists are planning on releasing some sort of a weapon, and typical James Bond agrees to join in to the mission. But then we get to see a new 007, who in this case is called Nomi. But what doesn't really make sense is that why is there an altercation between the old 007 and the new 007, telling the old 007 to stay out of our way? That was poor writing on the part of the writers, because you would expect that the new 007 would love to learn from the old 007, instead of having an altercation between the two. So that also didn't make sense. That's one of the other things that didn't really make sense. And also, the new 007 wasn't even in the movie as much as she should be, if she's the one taking the baton from the old 007. You see, so this was also one of the other few underwhelming parts of the movie. Just poor writing on that case. Then we get to see the interaction between Blofeld and James Bond and Madeline Swan. Safin asks Madeline Swan to go in to see Blofeld with the nanobiotech poison. So as a favor, because he spared her life. So the sequences in which Blofeld got to die was quite interesting, because Madeline Swan touched James Bond, who then got to touch Blofeld, and that's how Blofeld died. So that was really quite interesting. I really loved that part, and how they put it together. So that was really quite dope. The other interesting thing I would say is the scene with Paloma, the CIA agent, and James Bond. I really enjoyed their interaction, their chemistry when they were fighting the villains. It was really awesome. The gunfight, the collaboration, when they were having a drink just while during they were fighting the villains, that was really quite awesome. But it's quite unfortunate because we didn't get to see Paloma more. She was only in that scene and that scene alone, and it ended there for her. So I wished I could have seen more of her and her interaction with James Bond. Another interesting part in the movie is basically James Bond getting to meet his daughter for the first time after a few years of being away from Madeline Swan. And Madeline Swan says that it's not her daughter, his daughter, but it's obvious that that's James Bond's daughter. So I would say that was poor writing on that part. Blofeld, we get to also learn that Blofeld possesses a bionic eye, which he has been using to do his side missions.
Bro, what are you talking about,
How in
man?
the hell the MI6 does not get to know about this bionic eye is unbelievable. A whole MI6 agency. You would have thought they would have done some thorough scanning on him, but oh well, it's just for the movie, the show must go on. When Blofeld is talking to James Bond, there's all this talk of Madeline Swan's huge secret. So, as an audience, you're expecting this to be something huge. But all we get to find out is that Madeline Swan's father was part of Spectre. So this was not really a huge thing, because we could easily predict that in the movie, So it was not really a huge secret. Another disappointing part is that when James Bond and the new 007 girl go to the island to rescue Madeline Swan, they just get in there too easy, There is no difficulty level getting in there. They're just killing people left, right, center, and they don't even get shot, not even once. With all those bullets flying, they don't even get shot, not even once. Man, so that's another underwhelming part about the movie. There was no sense of danger. You were not feeling like as if James Bond was in danger and that anything could happen at any point. They easily go to rescue Madeline Swan and her daughter. Another part is whereby Safin takes Madeline Swan's daughter as leverage and then ends up letting her go. What the hell was that? So what was the use of taking the daughter in the first place? My God. This was just a shit show of a movie. This was just poorly written. Poorly written. Then they get there and James Bond gets to fight off with Safin. The grand finale fight that we've all been waiting for. And then look how it ends. He just easily manages to fight Safin. He's such a weak villain. I've never seen such a weak villain in my life. The only interesting part was whereby Safin infected James Bond with the virus, with the nanobot virus. So he's become poisonous to anyone he touches. So this includes Madeline Swan and his daughter. So that was really an interesting, unique part. I would agree. That was interesting from the part of the writing. I give them a hands up for that. But apart from that, we get to see nothing really interesting happen other than James Bond sacrificing his life, which he didn't need to do so. He could have just escaped the island or jumped into the water, which was just nearby. So I think the writers just decided, you know what, we need to kill off James Bond so that it's going to be an epic ending, which I do agree. A lot of people who are really saddened by the fact that James Bond got to die and not get to spend time with the love of his life and his daughter. But still, the movie was not really good. Overall, the movie was an okay movie. Action scenes, if you're an action scene guy, you really enjoy the movie. But if you are more of a storyline kind of a person, this movie will really be disappointing for you. One thing I would say about the movie is that it didn't feel really long because I enjoyed the pacing. There was a lot of action scenes, there was not a lot of slow scenes, so I really enjoyed the transitions. But the plot line was really, really disappointing. I really expected much from this movie, considering it's going to be Daniel Craig's last James Bond movie. So what we got to see was a really underwhelming movie, just the action scenes and nothing else. The gunfights, nothing else. It was more of a Steven Seagal movie, whereby he doesn't even get hurt. There were so many plot holes and things that really didn't connect. But man, this was poor use of Rami Malek's talent. We know he's a really great actor. We needed to see more of him. Why would a whole villain just kill Spectra, the people who killed his family, and then all of a sudden try and kill the whole world? It didn't even make sense. His character arc didn't make sense on why he was doing what he was doing. On the island scene, we get to hear that there are buyers coming. We don't get to know who these buyers are. That brings a sense of urgency for them to be able to bomb the island as quick as possible. Maybe if they would say it's the Russians coming, or maybe it's the Chinese coming, something like that, serious adversaries. But no, we just hear the mysterious people coming for the bioweapon. So yeah, that's my take on the movie. I give the movie a 5 out of 10. It was just an average movie. The only thing that was more unique about it was James Bond's death, but nothing else. Quite an underwhelming movie for me, to be honest. Yeah. So tell me what you think about the movie in the comments. See you.